The arrival of the wolf pack, the Galactic Unity Station hung in the void between stars, a testament to 10,000 years of interspecies cooperation. Ambassador Veltar adjusted his crystalline robes, his 6 arms moving with practiced precision, as he prepared for what should have been a momentous occasion, Earth's first diplomatic contact with galactic civilization. The council chamber buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the vast amphitheater, their forms ranging from the ethereal mist dancers to the silicon-based ore mines. Each had followed the same path: discovery, first contact, gradual integration into the galactic community. Earth would be no different, or so they thought. The first sign something was wrong came when the station's quantum shields flickered, not failed, flickered, as if something had passed through them like they weren't there. Chief Security Coordinator. Thiaxal's tentacles writhed in confusion. Nothing could penetrate quantum shields. They were fundamental constants, as reliable as the speed of light. Incoming vessel, the station AI announced, its usual melodic tone carrying an edge of uncertainty. Configuration, unknown. Propulsion system, unidentifiable. Quantum signature, impossible. The main viewing portal shifted to show empty space. Then, between one heartbeat and the next, a ship appeared. Not emerged, not materialized, simply was, as if it had always been there. Its hull seemed to drink in light, neither reflecting nor absorbing, but somehow doing both simultaneously. 5 figures transported directly into the council chamber, bypassing every security protocol. No flash of light, no sound, they simply stood where empty space had been a moment before. Ambassador Veltar's greeting died in his throat. These weren't the awkward, eager diplomats other young species sent. These were something else entirely. The woman at the center wore a suit so black it seemed to create its own gravity well. Dr. Sarah Chen, though the aliens wouldn't learn her name until later. Her smile never reached her eyes, which held the calculating gaze of a creature that had clawed its way to the top of the food chain through pure, ruthless intelligence. To her left stood Commander James Morrison, whose military bearing was impossible to disguise despite his civilian clothes. His eyes continuously scanned the room, cataloging exits, analyzing threat levels, measuring response times. The other 3, Dr. Mikhail Volkov, analyst Patricia Williams, and someone identified only as Ghost, positioned themselves with the precision of hunting pack members who had worked together for decades. "Greetings," Dr. Chen said, her voice carrying perfectly in the chamber designed for 100 different vocal ranges. "We're humanity's diplomatic team, though diplomatic might be misleading." Ambassador Veltar found his voice. "Welcome to the Galactic Unity Station. We are honored to receive Earth's first representatives. Please allow me to explain our integration protocols." "No need," Chen interrupted smoothly. "We've already downloaded your entire database, analyzed your governmental structures, and identified the actual power dynamics behind your elaborate political theater." The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. "Security Chief, Thiaxal's weapon systems began warming up, only to discover they were already locked out of their own controls." "Perhaps," Chen continued, activating a holographic display with a gesture, "we should skip the pleasantries and discuss why we're really here." The display showed Earth, not the beautiful blue marble the galaxy had observed, but something else. Cities that merged seamlessly with military installations, space elevators that doubled as weapon platforms, a moon hollowed out and converted into something that made the Death Star look like a child's toy. "You've watched us for centuries," Morrison spoke for the first time, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to absolute obedience. "Evaluated our broadcasts, decoded our languages, judged us primitive, a young species just taking its first steps into space." Dr. Volkov stepped forward, his thick accent deliberately maintained despite neural translation technology. "What you missed in your observations was our fundamental nature. Humans didn't reach the top of our food chain through cooperation. We got there by being the most efficient predators our world ever produced." The holographic display shifted, showing human history, but not the sanitized version Earth had broadcast to the stars. Wars that reshaped continents, weapons that could end worlds, technologies born from conflict that somehow advanced the species rather than destroying it. Every species here, Williams began, her analytical voice cutting through the growing tension, evolved through cooperation, herd mentality, group survival. You look at predators as evolutionary dead ends, solitary hunters who could never build civilizations. Ghost spoke last, their voice artificially modulated to be neither male nor female, neither young nor old. Humans are pack hunters. We combine the lethality of predators with the cooperation of prey species. The result? They gestured to themselves. Apex predators who learned to wear suits. The display changed again, showing economic models that made the galaxy's most advanced civilizations look like children playing with blocks. Military strategies that turned conventional warfare into obsolete concepts. Technologies that bent physics into shapes that shouldn't exist. "We're not here to join your community," Chen announced, her smile now showing teeth that evolution had designed for tearing meat. "We're here to hunt." The silence that followed could have crushed stars. Ambassador Veltar's crystalline form began to resonate with stress harmonics. "Hunt? Hunt what?" "Weakness," Morrison replied simply. "Inefficiency. Stagnation. Your galaxy has grown soft, content, with the illusion of peace. Natural selection stopped working on you the moment you achieved interstellar travel. We're here to restart it," Volkov added, his eyes gleaming with scientific excitement. "To introduce a new apex predator into your perfectly balanced ecosystem. Consider it forced evolution." The council erupted into chaos. Representatives from dozens of species began shouting, transmitting, vibrating their objections. Security forces moved to contain the human delegation, only to find their weapons wouldn't respond, their shields wouldn't activate. Their very bodies seemed sluggish and uncoordinated. Chen raised one hand and silence fell like a guillotine. Not natural silence, enforced silence, as if the very air had been commanded to stop carrying sound. "We've spent the last 100 years preparing for this moment," she explained calmly. "While you watched our television broadcasts and dismissed us as primitives, we were studying you, your technologies, your psychologies, your weaknesses. We know you better than you know yourselves." Williams activated another display. "Your quantum shields? We've been passing through them undetected for decades. Your translation matrices? We've embedded subliminal programming that's been conditioning you to see us as non-threatening. Your secure communications? We've been reading them since before your grandparents were born." "Impossible," Security Chief Thixol managed to project, through whatever was suppressing their voice. "Our encryption is based on quantum uncertainty principles. It cannot be broken." Ghost laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Cannot? You still don't understand. Humans don't acknowledge, cannot. We see it as a challenge." The display showed recording after recording of supposedly secure galactic communications, decoded and annotated with embarrassing accuracy. Military secrets, trade agreements, personal correspondence between galactic leaders, all laid bare. But why? Ambassador Veltar's form had taken on the dull gray of deep distress. "If you have such power, why reveal yourselves now? Why not simply conquer?" Chen's expression shifted to something almost pitying. "Because conquest is crude, inefficient. We don't want to rule you. We want to transform you, to force you to evolve or face extinction. Natural selection accelerated to galactic scale." Morrison stepped forward. "Your military forces outnumber ours 1,000 to 1. Your ships are more advanced, your weapons more powerful. In a straight fight, you'd win. But humans don't fight straight," Volkov interjected. "We hunt, we stalk, we identify weakness and exploit it. We turn our prey's strength against itself." The human delegation moved as one, forming a loose circle that somehow managed to make the entire Galactic Council feel surrounded despite being outnumbered. "Consider this your formal introduction to humanity," Chen announced. "We're not ambassadors, We're not diplomats, we're predators, and we've just entered your territory. The hunt begins now." With that, they vanished. Not transported, not cloaked, simply gone as if they had never been there. Only the lingering displays remained, showing the terrifying truth of what had just walked into their midst. Ambassador Veltar stared at the empty space where the humans had stood, his form cycling through colors of fear and awe. The galaxy had wanted to talk with humanity, but humanity hadn't sent ambassadors. They'd sent wolves in shepherd's clothing. The hunt begins. 3 hours after the humans vanished from the council chamber, the psychological warfare began. It started subtly. The Zentari delegation discovered their species' most embarrassing historical moments playing on loop in their quarters. The hive-minded collective found their network flooded with individualistic thoughts that threatened their unified consciousness. The pacifist harmony singers woke to find their sleep chambers playing recordings of their own species' forgotten war chants. Each attack was precisely targeted, designed to strike at the deepest fears and insecurities of every species on the station. Ambassador Veltar called an emergency session, but even gathering the council proved difficult. Communication systems worked perfectly, except when they didn't. Messages arrived late, out of order, or with subtle alterations that changed their meaning entirely. Door controls developed personalities, refusing to open for some while letting others pass freely. When the council finally assembled, they found the humans waiting. Not the same 5 who had appeared before. These were different faces, different bodies, but the same predatory presence filled the room like smoke. They sat in observers' chairs as if they'd always been there, watching the panic unfold with clinical interest. "You're experiencing approximately 12% of our capability," the woman who introduced herself as Director Maria Santos announced. She was older than Dr. Chen, with gray threading her hair and eyes that had seen civilizations rise and fall. "Consider it a demonstration. This is an act of war." The Krigarian War Master slammed 4 of his 6 arms on the table, his carapace rattling with fury. "The Galactic Unity will not tolerate such aggression." Santos smiled. "War? This isn't war. This is natural selection in action. The weak fail to adapt, the strong evolve. Which will you be?" A younger human, introduced as Dr. Alan Pierce, activated a new holographic display. "Let me explain humanity's evolutionary strategy. We call it persistent adaptive pressure. Unlike other predators who evolved specialized hunting methods, humans developed something far more dangerous: infinite adaptability." The display showed human history from a new perspective, not as a series of technological advances, but as a continuous adaptation to self-imposed selective pressures. Every war, every disaster, every challenge met not with specialized evolution, but with general adaptability. "Your species evolved to fill niches," Pierce continued. "The aquatic consortium adapted to water worlds. The void dancers adapted to zero gravity. The crystal mines adapted to high radiation environments. Each of you is perfectly suited to your original habitat." Another human, Captain Lisa Park, leaned forward. "Humans evolved to adapt to any habitat, any challenge, any threat. We don't have claws or fangs or natural armor. We have something far more dangerous: the ability to become whatever we need to be." The displays showed human colonization efforts, not the struggling settlements the galaxy had observed, but thriving adaptations. Humans modifying themselves at the genetic level for different environments. Cyborg enhancements that blurred the line between biology and technology. Mental conditioning that could reshape entire personality structures for specific tasks. "You're monsters," whispered the representative from the ethereal gardens, their delicate form trembling. "No," Santos corrected gently. "We're evolution's answer to stagnation. For millions of years, the galaxy has been in perfect balance. No new threats, no new challenges, no reason to evolve. You've achieved technological advancement without biological or psychological evolution. That ends now." Security Chief Thixol had been working frantically at his console throughout the discussion. Suddenly he announced, "I've isolated the human infiltration protocols. Initiating purge sequence." The lights flickered. Systems shut down and rebooted. For a moment, it seemed the station had freed itself from human control. Then every screen, every display, every holographic projector activated at once, showing the same message. Nice try. But you're playing our game now. The human identified as Ghost materialized in the center of the room. Literally materialized, as if stepping out of thin air. Did you really think we'd reveal ourselves without having complete control? We own your systems. We've owned them for decades. The display shifted to show the true extent of human infiltration. Not just the Galactic Unity Station, but every major system in known space. Quantum communication networks, financial systems, military command structures. All compromised, all containing hidden human protocols. But that's impossible, the Miss Dancer representative projected. We would have detected foreign code, alien signatures. You did, Ghost replied. You've been detecting them for years. But we programmed your systems to interpret them as normal operations. Your own security measures became our camouflage. Dr. Pierce reactivated his display. Let me show you the beauty of human psychological warfare. We don't need to defeat you militarily. We just need to make you defeat yourselves. The display showed predictive models of how each species would react to persistent stress. The proud Krigarians would turn their aggression inward, starting civil conflicts. The peaceful harmony singers would fragment into competing factions. The logical crystal minds would spiral into recursive doubt loops. Stop this, Ambassador. Veltar's form had shifted to deep purple, a color his species only displayed in extremity. What do you want from us? Director Santos stood, her presence somehow filling the vast chamber. We want you to evolve, to break free from your comfortable stagnation, to become worthy prey. Captain Park added, or you can choose extinction. Natural selection doesn't care which path you take. The young human who hadn't spoken yet, Dr. Jennifer West, presented the final display. Here's what happens next. Phase 1. Persistent low-level stress to identify which species can adapt. Phase 2. Escalating challenges targeting specific weaknesses. Phase 3. Direct competition for resources. Phase 4. New apex predator. Established in galactic ecosystem. You're talking about genocide, the Zentari speaker accused. No, Santos corrected. We're talking about evolution. Genocide implies we want you gone. We want you better, stronger, more adaptive. We want worthy competition. Ghost's form flickered, revealing briefly something that shouldn't have been possible. Multiple quantum states existing simultaneously. Humans spent 200,000 years becoming Earth's apex predator. We spent the last 300 years becoming something more. Now we're offering you the same opportunity. The display showed projections of galactic civilization in 50 years, 100 years, 500 years. In every scenario where humanity acted as persistent predator, the galaxy emerged stronger, more advanced, more adaptive, more alive. And, if we refuse? Ambassador Veltar asked, though he already knew the answer. Then you prove Darwin right, Santos replied. The species that cannot adapt to new selective pressures goes extinct. That's not cruelty. That's nature. The humans began to fade again, becoming translucent like ghosts, but their message remained, burned into every screen, embedded in every system, carved into the quantum fabric of the station itself. The hunt has begun. Evolve or perish. Your predators have arrived. As the last human vanished, alerts began, flooding in from across the galaxy. Economic systems fluctuating wildly but somehow maintaining perfect stability. Military networks reorganizing themselves with impossible efficiency. Scientific databases revealing solutions to problems that had stumped researchers for millennia. Humanity wasn't destroying galactic civilization. They were forcing it to become something greater, something worthy of the apex predators now walking among them. Ambassador Veltar looked around the council chamber at his fellow representatives. Some showed fear, some showed anger. But in a few, he saw something else. The first spark of adaptation. The beginning of evolution. The galaxy had wanted to welcome humanity with open arms. Instead, humanity had introduced them to the oldest law of nature: adapt or die. The wolves had entered the fold. The sheep would have to become something else entirely if they wanted to survive. The hunt was on. And for the first time in millions of years, the galaxy felt truly, terrifyingly alive.